Hey everyone, welcome to the Challenge Fandom Podcast. My name's Ricky Hayes. As you can tell, we're not in our normal locations. We're actually out in Detroit right now, uh, filming at GOHT Media. Pierre was graceful enough to let us come in. We're super thankful. But as you know, I'm Rick. This is Corrina. We've got Katie.
I'm sorry, that's not.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is new. We've got Corrina, my beautiful wife. Katie, Bad Blood Pahura. Alexis, Tex Ross, and we're off and running already. It's going to be a normal show, as you can tell, because I'm already fucking up. So nothing's really changed other than the location.
Facts.
And we're here together.
Yeah, first time meeting. So
I know.
Weird touch.
We can touch each other.
I'm just going to stay over here in the corner.
That's
Pretty
fair.
much how we're going to keep that going.
That's fair.
As
That's
we
fair.
go, he just keeps scooching.
So we're here to break down episode number, what is this, 5, an era tradition of Battle of the Eras. And I love how they're doing this new foreshadowing instead of like just focusing in on, you know, the two people that are eventually going to go in. They do the picture of an old school scene, and that kind of foreshadows it in. I've been really enjoying that. What did you guys think of it?
I really like when they do that with, like you said, with the picture. What I love the most about this one, because I've noticed all those like zoom ins on the pictures that they've done have been like people who are on this season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like this one, they brought in Cyrus, who isn't here. So like that was I saw it and I was like, like I love Cyrus. And so
Trishelle too. She was in. Was she?
I think
I think she was.
I think she might have, or I don't know. I don't remember.
Anyways,
But yes, but I love that like they gave Cy, even though he's not on the, he's so like what's the word I'm looking for? He's so iconic, right, to this show, and especially to those earlier seasons.
Yeah.
And so I really, really loved that they like incorporated Cyrus and like gave him that moment to shine in the show. I loved it.
Oh yeah, it was really interesting to see them bring in people that aren't normally in these later seasons of the flagship. One thing I did want to ask you guys about was Olivia having the conversation with Josh and calling him out for not volunteering to go in. And while I respect Olivia for calling Josh out for not being trustworthy, that's a little bit of the pot calling the kettle black. You know what I mean?
I was really surprised that no one said anything about it.
Like Highland?
Yeah.
Two out of 3 parties are already gone now.
Yeah.
Kylan was like already pissed on his own, trying not to say his own piece.
Right.
I loved the conversation though. I thought it was great that she had everybody in there and she was like, everybody, let's go.
I like that Josh was super accountable about it. And he was like, you know, it might have been a little bit of bullshit in the beginning about, oh, I heard people were going to throw me in, and then CT nominates himself and I got scared. Like that was half true. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because
but still,
I would have done the same thing. I would have absolutely done the same. If I saw CT, I'd be like, nah, fuck that.
There was a lot of accountability this episode.
There was
from era 1 at least.
At least from era 1.
Say some
parties.
Yeah, some people had accountability this episode. Some people did not. No, but I thought it was very ironic that she was, and I was sitting there and I was wondering if Horacio had not gone home last week.
Yeah.
Would you have still sat here and made the same speech to everybody about loyalty and trust? Because
I could just imagine Horacio sitting in the corner like, what the fuck, bro? Are you kidding me?
This is a joke, right?
Again?
Yeah. No. Yeah, I agree.
But Olivia did kind of put us on a bunch of different things this episode because she points out Devon and Michelle. Yeah, she was like, over there, right now.
Well, I love that. And for anyone, I can't remember who was it was it CT that told us that about. Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it was our episode with CT. So I'm sure very few of you out there haven't heard it. But if you haven't, he was telling us that like him, Bananas, Wes, like all the OGs, they will do that. Like if they see something happening, they'll like grab a cameraman and be like, oh, like you're going to want to get this scene or this fight or this hookup or like whatever it is. And so it was really cool to just kind of see that, like, I don't know, like that direction, that producing from like the cast itself, but like in a newer player.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Because it's not somebody that clearly like CT or Bananas like taught Olivia to do that. So like, you know what I mean? It was just
Yeah.
cool to see that like happen organically like that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
No,
I
me
feel like
too.
she had a lot of training in Love Island.
Oh,
She
yeah.
knows what they want.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it
And
That's
she
a good
has known
point.
what they wanted ever since
Yeah.
she got on the challenge.
That's a
And-
good point. She's good on TV.
And I excuse me, and I think the fact that it was Devon and Michelle, or Devon and Michelle who were hooking up, who are like notorious not trying to get caught.
Mm.
And she's like,
And
there.
then Derek.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was so great.
That was amazing. I love Derek. He's amazing. Yeah. What did you guys think about the Nehemiah Devon deal? Nehemiah approaching Devon to make the deal. I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
Go ahead.
I mean, he was trying to save himself.
It was it was A for effort.
I
He tried.
don't think Nehemiah and I've never pictured them to like work together
Mm-mm.
or be in the same anything.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Just not was it King's Palace or Palace? What was it from All Stars?
Oh,
Was it-
is that right? I don't know.
I
That
don't know.
one's
Anyways,
restaurant.
Yeah,
Safety
I've got it.
Palace, Safety Palace.
Okay.
Everyone go. Okay, sorry, I'm done.
So she doesn't, Devon doesn't strike me as a member of that, and Nehemiah on the Vacation Alliance, but that also leads into them talking about the Vacation Alliance
Oh.
in the room. And then in all the confessionals, they're like, the Vacation Alliance is not a thing. It's
Except
not.
Tori.
Like, it's
Yeah.
a thing.
The Vacation Alliance is a thing, guys. It's absolutely a thing. If anybody out there does not think that the Vacation Alliance is a thing, you're joking yourself. Like you're
Oh, yeah.
joking yourself.
They
Because
try, Josh, but
because here's my thing. If it's not a thing, at what point like have you guys not worked together? And I get the like Tori said, oh, I sent Josh in and he went home. I get that. But at the same time, you guys were working together at least up until that point. Like there's never been a time that Tori, Devon, Josh, like that they haven't worked together. They've had fights,
Mhm.
right? Because like Tori and Devon had that issue on what was it? Spy Slice? Or was it Double Agent? No, it's Spy Slice. Yeah, Spy Slice when with all the team switching.
Yes.
And then her and Josh had that issue on Spy Slice as well.
It was in that competition where her and Casey went head to head in
Yeah.
the football one.
It was like the
Yeah,
Hall
like
Brawl
whatever it was.
wannabe
Yeah.
thing.
trifecta.
Yeah, what's it called?
I don't know. That's I'm not the Wikipedia.
I'm trying to think.
Whatever.
Yeah, I
it
know.
was, it was probably terrible.
Shout out to Tony and
I-
Josh and everybody that can't be here.
Yeah, they weren't
know-
able to make it to Detroit, but we love them.
I think the Vacation Alliance is interesting because I think there's tiers that go into it. It's not just we're all on the same page. It's because you see it like 3 episodes before the final. Let's start throwing Fessy in. Right
Mhm.
before the final, let's throw Josh in. And so there's definitely alliances within the alliance. Like, Tori and Devon are going to ride it out together. Casey and
Right.
Josh
Yeah,
are going to
you're
ride it out
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Or Casey.
Casey Nani.
Casey Nani.
Casey's
yeah.
got a lot of connections in that Vacation Alliance.
Yeah, she's like the Spider Nelly now. Just webs
Spider
everywhere.
webs everywhere. Webs everywhere.
What do you guys think of this daily Fastpass?
What's up with that name though?
It sounds like how you get past tolls on
Yeah.
New York, it's called
Okay.
an Easy Pass.
Easy Pass.
don't
I think
know.
it's Fast Pass in California, maybe.
I don't know. I don't live in California, so
Well, I know.
Definitely
Yeah.
fast pass.
it's stats and
Somewhere I've
info.
seen it
Yeah,
before.
Yeah, I remember. I've seen it somewhere. Not here. I've seen. Never mind. It's fine. No, I actually liked this daily. I feel like this one was a lot more strategic. Like
Yeah.
it required a lot more like thinking,
And teamwork.
strategize,
Yes.
teamwork. And I think that was the true test, was the teamwork. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
saw it a lot in era 1
Mm-hmm.
and era 3.
yeah.
Which surprised me because I thought era 3 would work really well through this. But
Yeah.
Jordan and Tori cannot be under pressure together.
No.
Like they just literally cannot be under pressure
But,
together.
I mean, to be fair, like who would work good with their ex-fiance in a puzzle with 6 other people?
Not I.
And all
Yeah.
the people that are already on her team.
Yeah.
And let alone you have 3 other teams sitting there yelling at each other. Era 1's yelling like, lift it vertically. And it's like, bro, that's not going to work. Like, no matter how many people you have, this is just physics. And
Yeah.
Darrell called it out, like physics,
It's
bro.
physics, bro. In my back, it ain't good.
It ain't 100.
It ain't 100.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I thought that was real silly. I know that Derek really wanted to stand it up like a sailboat, but I'm like, you don't. It's too tall, dude. It's just gonna go like this. You don't
No one
have
was
any
doing that.
support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the real mistake we saw was instead of going the direction that every other team was going, which was to the left, they tried to go around the right. And from what we heard through screaming at each other was that it wasn't the right direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Tina kept saying that going the other way was like a shorter distance,
Yeah.
Yes.
but there were more trees, so it would have been like bob and weave,
That's what like she said.
Bob, like honestly, probably my favorite line of the night right there.
Yeah.
Bob and weave, Bob and motherfucking weave. You know, is
They were funny. Like when they started going back and forth,
yes.
and then literally like 3 seconds later, they're like, "Sorry, I'm so sorry."
That's
loved every bit of it.
accountability. That's growth
like,
right there,
That's-
especially from both of them.
That's basically how you know everyone in Era 1 is 35 plus. Is like they're like, you know what, I made a mistake. I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry. Okay. Accept my apology, please.
I love, and it was so funny too because he's like, "I'm not trying to yell at you." Like he was very angry. Like he was still so frustrated. He's like, "I'm not trying to yell at you or hurt your feelings. I'm sorry, Tina."
So I want to know your what your guys' thoughts were going into this. Like, did you think Era 4 was going to dominate this daily?
No.
No.
Who was your pick going in?
I thought 3 was going to
I
get
thought
it.
Era 3 was going to get it because
Mhm.
they're so close and they've been working so well together. Their team has seemed so cohesive
Mhm.
as far as, you know, taking turns volunteering. I know like there was that confusion between you know, Corey and Devon last week or whatever it was where they knew they were taking turns, but they from the edit they hadn't talked about who was going next. So I really thought that they would do well with this because they've just worked so well together. I figured, you know, Tori and Jordan are like way past their issues. It's not going to be a problem. They're going to get through this easy as pie.
Absolutely not.
I was
We're
wrong.
not going to get through it.
What did
No.
you think, Alexis? Era 3 too, or
Yeah, I did too.
I thought Era 2. Like I know they showed the preview of Laurel like in the week before, like Laurel standing back, but I legit thought Era 2 was just gonna run this.
I considered that one, but then I was like, you have Laurel and Cara's issue,
Yeah.
right? Then you have Laurel who has an issue with Emily.
Mhm.
And then you have Cara and Banana. Like there's so many little things that I think that Era 2 could be one of the strongest teams there if they could figure out how to like get along and be on the same page. Unfortunately, there are, you know, certain people and situations involved that kind of don't allow that to happen, which really sucks because I would have loved to see Era 2
Mhm.
like do really good this season. And I just, the more that the season goes on, I'm like, I don't really think that Era 2 is going to like play well together.
Yeah.
I don't think they're playing for the team.
Mhm.
Right.
They're playing for when the team's not together anymore.
When it goes individual.
Which I
or
get,
whatever.
but also don't like.
Well, and my thing is like Laurel's like, oh, I don't want to take her to a final. Well, yeah, absolutely. But we're also only 5 eliminations into this. And there is a shit ton of people. And based on what TJ said the final is going to be, as far as there's going to be 1 male and 1 female winner, odds say that 4 people are going. So you still have, or 4 people from each sex.
And
is
4
going.
women, 4 men.
Yeah. You have a lot of people you still have to eliminate. And while you want to get rid of Emily, it would have been, let's be honest, it was a long shot what happened because the most people you're not going to be like, oh, she's going to beat Emily in an elimination.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I just
Emily's a tough bitch. I
She
mean,
is.
you know, I don't blame Laurel for like that's hard.
Mhm.
I don't blame Laurel for not wanting Emily there. You know, I get the team aspect thing, but you also never know when the format is going to change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially like lately, because a lot of these newer seasons, they do like 2 or 3 format changes throughout the season. You know, I mean, even going back to like Spies Lies, they did, was it Spies Lies where they did the teams and then they went to partners and then they went back to the teams
Yes.
or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you never know. Like it could be next episode that, you know what I mean? Like I know 5 eliminations in, like you just, I don't know. I don't think that you can just assume that you're going to be in a team for another, I don't know, like it's like a take your shot thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you take your shot. You're
Yeah.
getting into the game a little bit. It's not within the first couple weeks. You know how the game is working now. You know that the people who go down get to pick the, the targets. You're kind of getting a feel for how the game's going. And I mean, she didn't pick Emily. Somebody else picked Emily.
Yeah.
And you have your shot. Why not take it? And that's, and I know that, again, a lot of people are going to get upset, but it's the same thing that I said when Laurel threw Cara in. Like, I get, and it was kind of stupid because it was the first one, but I get the idea of I don't want Cara here. I don't want to run against her. I don't want to risk having to play against her, to keep my spot on the team or whatever. You know what I mean? So it was like, I don't blame people when they make those moves where it's like, this is somebody I don't think I could beat, so I'm going to do everything I can to get them out. However, I feel like there's more to why Laurel does this sometimes.
Yeah.
And so that's like what bothered me. And also, like, I missed Emily and I really wanted to see her play more in this game. So I took it a little personal.
No. I
Well,
think that's
I guess my biggest argument against that is you're a challenge vet. You know that this season is going to change formats. They do it every single season.
Yeah.
And the fact that you want to dismantle this team like you did on War of the Worlds 2, which
Mhm.
blew up in your face, and now you're trying to do the
Yeah.
same thing on this team
Okay.
that's stacked, and you guys should win almost every
Mhm.
daily. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't.
You've got
Yeah.
3 of the female goats.
But I think that
Bananas.
makes her feel like she can win with or without her.
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah,
if everyone else is gone, if Laurel and Bananas are still standing, they're still gonna win
Yeah.
in her mind.
yeah.
That's a good point.
You know
That's
what?
No,
yeah.
that's a
I mean,
good
I
point.
don't know.
But then you're just putting such a large target on yourself, because what we're seeing eventually with Era 1, which is they're down to 2 women. So one of them goes, like, it's the same one every week.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's my question is what happens if all of, all the women go out on Era 1? What then? Is there just no woman target for Era 1? Or like how
I don't
are
know.
they going to combat that?
Surely they'll switch it up once that happens.
Yeah, that's my assumption, is they'll go to a pairs format or an individual is my assumption.
They
on
change the
this.
format.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
But I also think they're really trying to make sure that doesn't happen any
Yeah.
quicker than
It needs to.
Why would you say that, Alexis?
What makes you say that?
There's like foreshadowing happening
That's
there.
weird.
No, but I will say about the daily, I didn't expect Era 4 to work so well together. And I know we didn't even get like a lot of shots of them,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's because they weren't fighting, they weren't
Yeah.
yelling at each
Yeah.
other.
Getting along.
And yeah, they were getting along. They were
that's
working
not
well.
good TV.
No, not at all. Yeah.
I didn't expect that. Like they were the ones that I would expect to have the most trouble with communication because they're also like new, right? Whereas like,
Mhm.
but I guess I don't know. See, and now I'm changing my mind. I guess
did we ever see who the leader was?
was there a leader?
I don't know. I don't even know if I could picture who would be the leader in this.
I would
I
say
think-
Kylan.
I think in this situation was Kylan.
Yeah, because he's real smart.
Big
Um,
brain. Big
I
brain.
like Tina's idea though, where she said she was going to stand in the middle and she was going to tell everybody go left, right, left.
Oh, aggressive.
Welcome to the club. Yeah, welcome to the club. No, I just think their whole strategy was fucked from the go. Like,
Yeah.
because at that point at the center, you're not getting a good judge of what's going on out there. And I mean, really, let's be honest, based on what they were doing this daily, the title of this episode should have been Pivot.
Pivot.
What is the name? An era tradition?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Laurel and Cara fight. It's a tradition.
That's fair. That's
what
fair.
it is.
All right. I mean, that's fair. No, I actually enjoyed this daily. I didn't understand Era 1's approach. I didn't understand what Tina was saying when she was like, I want every part of this thing touching a tree. For what reason? How does that work? I'm confused. But it's fine.
It's over now.
You're funny. You're funny to watch.
Look,
We'll leave it at that.
there's a reason that they came in 4th place. And I think there's a reason why Era 3, came in 3rd place, is because there was too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Everybody was
Yeah.
shouting out directions. Everybody was saying, hey, do this, do that. When you look at Era 1 Era 4, and everybody's like listening to 1 or 2 people say, hey, turn here, rotate here, pivot,
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah,
Pivot.
So that's why I think they were screwed from the beginning. On
Right.
those.
No, that's fair. I have a quick question though.
Okay.
do you guys think that them doing this format as far as the eras, like, the era 1 or verse era 2 verse blah 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 blah, is era 1 standing up as well as you thought they were going to when we originally saw this format?
Yes. You are taking a bunch of 30
What did you think?
plus
They were
male
going to do very good.
women, and you're putting them in there to do challenges with 25-year-olds.
I
Yeah.
thought they were gonna
Absolutely.
come out
I don't know.
surprise
I thought they
us.
were going to surprise us. Maybe that's just my.
That's
Well,
our,
me
our
too.
nostalgic hearts.
I
Yeah.
thought I don't know. I thought their relationship's just gonna get him a little farther. Like we all know that Rachel is friends with Tori outside of the show.
Yeah.
She doesn't like the way Tori's Arrow's doing it. And I'm
Mhm.
like, you didn't tell her? You didn't tell her this was how it goes?
Yeah, this is how we play the game. Well, that, and I think with Era 1, we're going on 3 straight episodes, like last episode, this episode, and then next episode, where someone is either injured, talk about injury, or how sore they are. And it, like, after a while, when you get up there, you don't recover like you used to. And I know this, like, I went from falling and being able to tuck and roll to when I fall now, it's just like a sack of potatoes straight to the
Just going
ground.
down. Yeah.
Gravity has like grabbed me and just, there you go.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Getting past the daily though, when we get back into the house, we get the scene of Corey and Nehemiah talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Corey. I like Corey a lot.
I
I
love
think he's
Corey.
great for the show, but also the fact that he is talking about Jordan and Laurel made a deal. It's like they didn't make a deal, dude. They've always had a deal, like for as long as they've been on shows together.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. I think there's a different level of type of game player, like someone like Michelle who walks in and can read the house,
Yes.
and then other people that struggle to read what the alliances and
Yeah.
breakdowns are.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think that Corey, I love him, but I think that there's almost like a little film, you know what I mean? Where like he just kind of sees what he wants to see
He's
when he
definitely
wants
had
to see it, kind of a thing, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's like, because it's like, no, man, like Laurel and Jordan, you didn't see last episode when Laurel or when Jordan literally threw it to Laurel. Like, let's not even pretend that that didn't happen, because it did. Jordan can say whatever he wants, but he threw that. You didn't notice anything there. You haven't noticed like they worked together on Ride or Dies, the very last season that they
Yes.
did together. Laurel literally admitted to Tori on the Ride or Dies reunion that the night before the reunion, her and Jordan had hooked up in the hotel room or whatever. And even before that, they had hooked up somewhere in between, Jordan breaking up and him and the girl he's with now, Diner, getting together. So it's like you don't see any of this
It's not
ever,
like they
Corey.
hate each other.
Yeah, like
They made it pretty clear.
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't know who Cheyenne is, so
No, he does. Yes, he does. He does.
This Kylan just posted a story. I think it was Cheyenne.
Cheyenne, he's like, he tagged Jordan in it. Yeah, saw that.
Her name is Cheyenne, not Sylvia.
That's gonna be a
Sylvia.
new rival season coming up. Jordan and Sylvia.
Oh my God. One, he was closer the first time. Anyway.
On accident.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
After the daily, we get back to the house, like I was saying, and we get the scene of Corey and Nehemiah. But that leads into something that we heard online, which is there's actually an outside alliance that's going on
Mhm.
that we haven't seen on the show. It's called the Odd Man Out, and it's like Derek, Ryan, Nehemiah, Corey, and I think it's Aviv, Avery, and a few other people that aren't in like the Vacation Alliance, basically.
Yeah.
And low key, I'm really rooting for them now that I know that, because it's like the underdog story. And I'm like, all right, I want to see you guys do good
Yeah.
now. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Do you think they'll be able to compete with the Vacation Alliance and help control the house? Or do you think it's pretty much already locked in?
Mhm.
Dude, I
Oh,
think
that's tough.
that the older alliance has the power to do whatever they want, and they're
Mhm.
gonna do it. And unfortunately, Corey hasn't like crossed that threshold to be in that group yet.
Yeah.
Even though I'm pretty sure at the beginning I said I wanted Corey to win,
Mhm.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You
and
did?
I still have my theories on why I think maybe he does.
Ooh.
But I'm always creeping on Instagram, seeing what people are
Do you
doing
want
in
to
their
dive
lives.
into that?
Like, do you have
Did
money?
you buy a new house? A new car?
But I mean, I don't know how he doesn't realize like what's happening. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
This game is already being played. I mean,
Well, and this moment made me feel a little bit different about Era 3, because again, like I talked about earlier, is that it's felt a lot like, you know, they're working really well together, they're communicating, all this stuff. But then now Corey's like, hey, I don't trust my team. Like, I don't trust Devon. I don't know what he's doing. I don't, would he actually have my back? Like, so I'm like, okay, so what's going on behind the scenes? Because obviously, I think majority of the fan base, I don't want to say everybody, but I think majority of the fandom has already agreed that we're getting these very specific edits for these specific people. You know, and this even breaks into, you know, obviously, you know, what happens a little bit later in the episode, which we'll dive into, you know, but even going into CT, because we got the little bit of a fire up moment from CT talking to Tina, you know, and them fighting or whatever. But then there's this huge moment, and I'm just going to bring it up now because I have no idea where in the episode it actually happens. Because guess what? They didn't show it to us.
We didn't get to see it.
But there was actually a deleted scene released on Instagram today from the challenge, and it is a deleted scene of CT and Theo fighting on the bus. And at first, when I first heard of this, because like I think Theo said something on
He had
like
a Twitter
or something, right?
Tweet.
He had a
Is that
tweeter.
what the kids say?
Yeah. Him and Tina went back and forth.
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
he was like, you know, they should have shown mine and CT's fight on the bus. That was way cooler or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, what? And I was imagining something like, if you guys listening, if you guys remember back on like Invasion of the Champions, Hunter was like throwing a fit in the bus and he's like, who can beat me? Who can beat me? And CT is just like in the back, like, you know. And so I thought it was going to be something silly and stupid like that. But then they released the clip and it's like old school CT. He's like, bro, I'm going to fucking wreck you. I will smash your head and eat it. Like, and I'm like, Theo, just put your feet on the ground. It's going to be okay. Like, but we didn't get that.
I like that part at the end where he's calmed down. He's like, he's gonna be thinking about that for a week. Like, yes, bro. Yes.
Yeah, no, but again, we didn't see that, right? So it's almost like I'm like, but yet you show the clip during trivia of CT damn near killing Adam. So what part of CT, like, are we? I don't understand. Because that scene easily could have been edited into this episode. It wasn't like it was super long.
I thought we weren't talking about that anymore.
I know.
Like, you can't find that online to like on an episode, right?
You can't watch the
So
episode.
why did they use it?
Yeah. And that's the thing.
About that.
I'm like, so what are we doing? Are we giving CT a good edit, a good guy edit, or are we showing the crazy side of CT? Like, you gotta pick one. Pick one.
Pick one.
Pick one. Because if you're gonna show us smash his head and eat it, why not show us CT versus Theo in the bus? Like that. That's where I'm like getting this disconnect with how they're trying to edit CT this season. Like what like archetype, what character role are they trying to have CT fill this season? Because you're confusing me at this point.
Look, I'm going to jump ahead of a lot of stuff real quick because I feel like this leads to a bigger discussion. Because the one thing that is consistent is production is chopping up this edit to derive a storyline that is not actually what we're seeing. Or
That's
we're only
a good way
seeing
to see it.
bits and pieces of it.
Yeah.
And I think the Laurel Cara fight is a key point in that. Even what we saw in All Stars 4, the way they chopped and edited fights that happened after and put them before, so it fed a storyline. Like we see it with this fight too. And we can go into like the gameplay, but I think this was the main focus of the episode, and it's been the main focus of everything since. And what we see, it starts off with Michelle and Laurel talking, and they're talking about basically Michelle and her confessional says she's trying to chip away at Laurel, and it's not going to happen. Laurel's too strong-willed. But it basically comes down to Laurel saying, look, I'm never going to be your friend. We can be cordial,
Right.
but I will never be your friend.
Right.
That
And
reminded me of someone I know.
yeah.
This isn't a thing. This will never be a thing. I am not coming after you.
Oh my God.
Instantly what I thought of. Thank you, Wes.
That's really
Well,
good.
that's not even who I was talking
Oh,
about.
that wasn't? What were you thinking?
No, I was talking about when Amanda said to Tori, I'm never going to be your friend.
Oh yeah.
Oh, see, I thought of Wes and Josh instantly. I was like, oh, this is so, I'm not coming after you. I'm not here to take out the worst player in the game. Like,
That is a really good one, honestly. I didn't even think of that one either. But with this, at the end of it, Cara comes up and basically, from what she says, is trying to diffuse the situation by saying, you know what, Michelle, I'll be your friend. Come hang out with me.
Mhm.
Which Laurel interprets as far interpretates.
Interpretates.
Words, they're hard.
Don't smoke weed, lady. But interprets it as Cara basically injecting herself where there isn't a point to be. Like it's
Yeah,
trying
like,
to grab a camera or something. Like,
Uh-huh.
let me help you because Laurel's such a bad
Uh-huh.
person.
Mhm.
And I would honestly feel that way too if I was trying to have a conversation with someone and someone else acted that same way.
Yeah. Look, are we diving into the Laurel
Well, here,
Cara thing, or did you want to go back to nominations first? It's
I'm-
up to you.
nominations are pretty self-explanatory. Let's be honest.
I just want to give Devon his flowers.
Yeah.
Okay, give
I
Devin
just
his
want to give
flowers,
Devon
and
his
then-
flowers because that was so masterfully handled. He literally just sat there with a little smile on his face listening to Nehemiah talk. And then he was like, except this is actually how it happened. And then seeing Kylan's like confessional where he was like, oh, I was so sure. Like Nehemiah just got done telling me this. And now I'm finding out that he was the one who started all of this. I love the way that Devon handles himself. He's so smart. And I think that every single thing that Devon does in this game is thought out. It's planned. Like Devon doesn't just
Yes.
do or say things, right? It's all planned out. He's very strategic, even what he says or what he doesn't say, for the most part. I know he says stupid shit and he's done stupid shit, but I'm just saying for the most part, and especially more lately, I really love how he like maneuvers these situations. And look, I know there's a lot, like I know Rachel said, I don't like how Devon's playing, but Devon is possibly one of the best social players because
Yeah.
of the way that he makes his deals. He doesn't break them. And I liked the way that he explained that, he doesn't like making long deals because what if something better comes up that competes against something that you've already promised?
It's a better
now,
plane.
Yeah, now you have to like make a decision.
Yep.
And then that's how you get in trouble with people for breaking your word. So, Devon makes those 1-day deals, those 1 elimination deals, 2 eliminations, or, whatever, like short deals. And so I love his confidence in this moment. I loved the fact that he wasn't like afraid to call Nehemiah out right there in front of everybody. And then CT and Tina just,
Yeah. Well, I did like the fact that CT and Tina agreed before going in that
Yeah.
they weren't going to say who they wanted to go against. They wanted the other era to make the choice.
yeah.
But I think Devon does that because while Devon can be a good athlete and shown he can win a final, he also is very much aware of the fact that he might not be the best athlete there, and pretty much knows that with Jordan, CT, some of the other guys there.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows that his social currency is the most important thing in this house,
Mhm.
and he plays accordingly. And I really enjoy that, and I think that's why he had to act fast with Nehemiah bringing this up.
Yeah.
Well, really, Kylan and Olivia bring
Yeah,
it up.
they called it
But,
out, yeah.
he had to act fast because otherwise he loses his social currency. And then if his word isn't worth anything in this game, then he's quick to go.
Right. No, I agree. I really loved it. And I don't know. I just love Devon. I just love him. I love him so much.
It would have been really interesting to see Devon, CT, Tori, Tina.
That actually brings up a question.
Yeah.
So while we're in nominations, we get a confessional from Tori where she's like, talking about what's happening in nominations, whatever. And she makes a comment saying, Devon's taken out Wes, he's taken out Bananas, blah, blah, blah. He beat Jordan in a final, which I didn't like that statement. It's not entirely true, but that's okay. But she's like, I think he could beat CT. And what? I'm just saying, look, I get Devon won. Devon and Tori beat
Technically, he won.
Jordan, but Anissa was also tied to Jordan and she was injured. So, right. So it's not like Jordan and Devon raced an individual final and Devon beat him. Like, that's how it came off. I was like, that's a little fib. But anyway, but she says, I think Devon could potentially beat CT. I think this season would have been the best option for Devon to beat CT in an elimination, as long as it wasn't like a pole wrestle.
Well, here's my thing is we've always said you have a better chance of beating Jordan, Bananas, CT
and Wes
in an elimination than you do in a final, because you get them in a final and that's where they shine. And that's why they've won so many.
Yeah.
And so to me, do I think Devon could have beaten CT, especially knowing what the elimination was?
And if he had Tina's board.
If he had Tina's board, it was a fucking lock.
Yeah.
Like whoever had that. I could have won that elimination against anyone in the house. I would have never known to try it. But with that being said, I think this would have been a chance you take at CT.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get another chance of him volunteering to go in there and then this happening.
Well, I mean, and not only that, but like, it's not like, CT's in the best physical shape this season. It's not like, I don't know if he's in a great mental state, but I know that right before 40, there was a lot of stuff going on, personal stuff. That's really none of our business. So I'm not even going to, but there were personal things going on in his life. So it's like, I don't know what his mental state was like. He's already injured at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if anybody is going to be CT in an elimination, whatever it is, this would be the one. The only thing I would think maybe not is like pole wrestle.
Yeah.
Because,
Pole wrestle, hall brawl,
anything that like
anything physical, you're not taking Devon over CT.
No.
You're really hoping for even puzzles. That's a great
endurance.
matchup. Yeah.
You're hoping for some sort of endurance.
I would like to see them do a not so fast together.
They've talked about
that would be a good one.
People have talked, like Tori said, you'll see CT 30 pounds overweight, smoking a Marlboro, but running 5 miles on the treadmill.
Oh,
you know
that's
what I mean?
That's true.
So,
that's
built
true.
Different.
Yeah, dude's built different. You know what I mean?
That's true.
But I think I would like to see a Devon versus CT. I think it would be a really good matchup.
What if he took out CT too, and then he's like truly the GOAT Slayer? Like
What
that
if-
would have been crazy.
What if they had a competition and who could smoke?
Probably
beer.
CT.
It depends if you factor beer in there, because then Devon might get the edge.
He might. Yeah.
So let's get into this.
Yeah. Let's break into what you were saying.
Can I go on that?
The whole
Katie's like,
time
I
this was
quit.
happening, like even when I saw previews, I'm like, why is Cara wearing her hair like that?
Makes it.
Because her
hair's
hair
like
dye.
Mhm.
And then I found out
Yeah.
she was dyeing her hair.
As soon as
I'm
it
like,
happened, I was
okay,
like, I was
I
watching it
understand.
before. I was going to text you. I was like, oh no, I'll wait.
I was like, what happened to her hair? And then because like the whole, like the one side is like white.
Uh-huh.
I feel like this
So-
didn't help that she looked ridiculous.
Well, the very first, I know, right? The very first time that I saw the preview,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just like the lighting in my house or whatever on the white hair, but it looked like it was just like bald, right? Like there was no hair there. And so I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, how does Cara have a whole bald spot on the side of her head? I'm glad to see that was not the case.
Like, oh, actually, it wasn't that bad.
It's all right. It's all right.
She's like, oh, this isn't that bad. Okay.
So getting back to where we were though with
Yeah.
Michelle and Cara, I feel like Laurel was justified in her emotions towards Cara in that moment, because I would be pissed off if I was having a conversation one-on-one with someone
Mhm.
and then someone else interjected and was like, and took the one and was like, I'll be your friend. And it's like, well, bro, fuck you too.
She could have said that. Though.
I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
said
should've.
that.
Yeah.
I feel
If
like
they
it
don't
would have
fit,
been
yeah.
different though
But
if
she's
it
not
was someone
adults.
else. Like,
Mm.
Well, I just feel like the boundary was not there.
No.
Like
Mhm.
I would have said that exact thing in that exact moment and then moved on from it. But she didn't say anything and she let it boil and boil and boil.
Like, and I think that goes to a bigger point that we were talking about when we rewatched it, which is like, you see it with Error One. Like, I'm sorry I yelled at you. I was just upset. It was in the heat of the moment. Like, there's boundaries are being set. Like, and then you get to Laurel and Cara, and all of a sudden it's like, these aren't 30-year-old women that are having a disagreement. These are, middle school girls going at it, and somebody's going to get their feelings hurt.
I
And
Yeah.
that's
do
what
feel like
happens.
the sister analogy is pretty spot on.
Yes.
I
Little
think for
sister,
their
big sister.
I think for their fighting it is. I don't want to annoy Cara by comparing them as sisters. 'Cause she doesn't like it.
Oh,
She doesn't like it. But I do feel like the way that they fight is very sibling like.
Yes.
As far as and again, right at this moment, I'm going to talk about what we saw in the edit, and that's the opening of what we're going to talk about here, and then we'll dive into Cara's video.
Yeah.
But as far as the edit and this moment with Michelle, I think first of all, I think both Laurel and Cara made mistakes in this interaction with each
Yes.
other.
Yeah.
I think some mistakes were much bigger than other mistakes, but I think that there were mistakes on both sides. And I think that Cara knows that too, because even in her video that she made for TikTok, she admits that there were specific things she did to like poke,
Mm-hmm.
to like poke, you
Yeah.
know? And I think this was one of those things where it was like,
I'm not touching you.
I'm not touching you.
Literally.
You know,
Yeah.
and so I too would be very upset if I was, you know, even if I'm arguing with somebody, like for someone else to just come in, interject them into themselves into something that has nothing to do with them, go away. You know what I mean? Like, mind your business.
Yeah.
So I get where Laurel was coming from in that moment. I just wish it would have just ended there.
Yes.
If it would have just ended there, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't have even been, it probably wouldn't even made the fucking show. You know,
We would have got Theo.
we'd have got
Yeah, we got,
Theo.
yeah.
We'd have got CT Theo. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say at a certain point, like I don't know, maybe this is just me, but if I know I'm gonna fight with someone every time I fucking talk to them, every time I'm around them, I'm just not gonna be around them, or I'm just gonna ignore them completely. Kind of what like Laurel did to Nicole for the first episode of All Stars 4, where she just ignored her presence. Maybe that's the right scenario to do on this because look, as a producer of the show, I would cast Laurel and Cara every season back to back to back as long as they keep fighting because unfortunately it makes great television because we're sitting here as podcasters talking about it. You know what I mean?
The whole fandom is talking about it. It's
Yeah.
been nothing but that, you know? And so I get it. And I know I see a lot of people out there that are like, stop bringing Laurel back. This should be production's, you know, clue to not bring Laurel back anymore. And it's like, I don't think that that's going to happen
No.
because she keeps people talking. It's like the Fessy thing, right? When everybody was like, why do they keep bringing Fessy back when the fans hate him? And I'm like, because he keeps you guys talking. So then the show stays in the top of everybody's minds, the top of even when it's not in season. You guys are talking about Fessy. Why would it's that whole idea of like all publicity is good I can't talk.
Words are hard, but we got you.
Publicity. You know, like whether you're talking good or bad about Fessy, you're still talking about the challenge.
Yep.
Whether or not you're talking good or bad about Laurel, you're still talking about the challenge. So they don't give a shit what you think about the actual cast members, the people on it. They just want you talking about the show and keeping it popular.
Literally just like wrestling. Like
It's
we
exactly
need a face, we need a heel.
Yeah.
It's exactly it.
They need their villain.
And I mean, Laurel seems to oblige them in this every season she's on with Cara.
She has no problem. She
It's
doesn't.
kind of crazy how different she came across in the edit last season versus this season. It's also like make up your mind.
Yeah.
Because like I'm having whiplash. Like, how do I feel about Laurel? Like, I really liked the season where she was like soft, even though she was like not doing what was good for her. She was soft, and now I'm just like, God.
But this could be the aftermath of that.
Yeah,
Horrors. Falls back up.
I think watching the edit, I felt that Laurel didn't do anything wrong. It felt like Cara antagonized the situation
In the edit,
based on the edit that we saw. And I want to make that very clear because now hearing Kylan talk about how it all started, hearing Cara talk about how it escalated and what it escalated to. And I know there's 3 parts to every story. Because
We talked about it too.
Yeah. There are certain things that I think Laurel did that are completely uncalled for and you shouldn't do. You don't need to go scorched earth on somebody. And I feel like that's what she did from what I've heard.
Yeah, I agree.
But I also understand it at the same time. So I'm like, it's
so
a tough
hard.
scenario because if somebody's sitting there poking me,
If you poke me enough, I'm going to snap and I'm going for the kill. Like I'm going for the kill shot. And if I don't hurt your feelings the first time, I'm gonna keep going until I hurt your feelings. Like that's how I get when I snap like that. So I understand that from Laurel, but then it's also like I would never have done.
There's certain things you don't go after.
Did.
Yeah, there's just certain things.
That's just to me. That's just like that's beyond snapping. That's something
That's
is not right.
That's different.
It's somebody hit you with a twig, so you went and got a gun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why?
Kylan said when he was with us last time we recorded, he gave an analogy similar where like he's like, she doesn't throw, I don't remember what he said, like a tennis ball, she throws a brick. Like
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we could spend an hour and a half talking just Laurel and Cara and the layers that are in this, but at the end of the day, it's one of those situations where I think someone needs to get eliminated. Otherwise, somebody's going to quit this
Yeah.
season.
One of them has to go. One of them has to go. I feel bad. I feel bad for Cara. I feel bad for Laurel too. Like, I feel bad that whatever is ailing her is like causing her to treat people that way and that strong of a response. You know what I mean? I'm glad that Cara came out and gave her side of the story,
Yes.
because just watching the edit, I was like, what is this reaction? Like,
It wasn't that bad.
she
It
called you a
wasn't
stupid bitch, Cara. Like, come on, are you serious? Like, why are you crying like this? You know what I mean? Like this. Who fucking cares?
Mhm.
That's the dumbest insult when you're 30 years
Yeah.
old. Who fucking cares? Like, that's. But seeing what actually happened in that moment, and it made more sense as to why the house
Yeah.
had such a reaction, because you even get those shots where like Corey's kind of like in the back part of that little pantry area,
Yes.
and he's like walking away and he's shaking his head like, what the fuck? You know, and I'm like,
Well, to see old school seasons, people would get in fights and everybody would run to go watch it. In these new ones, they just let them do their thing.
Mhm.
But to see everybody in the house start going
Yeah.
over there because they heard how bad it was, and the fact that security got involved, I think really explains it. And when security got involved, like Cara was literally, you could tell she was in that fight or flight mode.
Mhm.
She was not controlling any of her emotions at that point.
absolutely.
And
She was controlling her hands, though.
she was, yeah. Taught
Yeah.
to Narice's anger management.
Like,
She
she
did.
was. though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm so glad she had support through that moment,
Yes.
especially learning what actually happened in that moment. If you guys haven't, make sure you guys go check out Cara's TikTok, explaining everything. But yeah, I'm glad she had support in that moment. The one thing that I want to say is, because I haven't seen anybody call it out, and that's just what I do. I'm hoping that even though we didn't see it, that Emily apologized to Cara for the shit she put Cara through back on Rivals 2, where she literally like looked Cara in the face and was like, you annoy me and make me anxious. I don't want to work out with you. You're not allowed to be part of our CrossFit club. Like, I don't like you. And like cast her out. She kind of did the same thing that like Laurel's done. And so I was waiting for that like apology of like, hey, like I feel like shit that I ever made Cara feel like that. I've grown, blah, 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 blah. And even though we didn't see it, I'm really, really, really just really hoping with everything in the universe that happened between them.
I feel pretty confident it did.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I couldn't see
feel
Cara
like she-
forgetting about that, because that has stuck
Yeah.
with me.
And
Well,
the
And I
whole
wasn't
Emily,
even there.
though, I
Yeah.
feel like she probably, I don't know. She is a little bit my cup of tea, but I still trust what she says. Like, I feel like she has good character, and she
Yeah.
probably did.
Yeah.
I feel
I was just gonna say, I think it's really funny that she said she couldn't join their CrossFit club. Like that's
you can't
like,
with us.
They have
can't
this
sit
little
with us.
group, and like everybody was like trying to get like, and Cara was just getting into CrossFit. They were trying to get her to come in, and Emily was like, skirt. Nope. Yeah. So I don't know. It was just like the first thing I thought of when I saw Emily like criticizing Laurel for how she's treated Cara all these years of like
Yeah.
kind of ostracizing Cara. And I'm like, but you did it too, Emily. So hopefully you apologized for that. And I'm just going to assume in my head that you did.
I'm
Yeah.
on the Emily train. I love Emily,
Yeah.
but I would like to. She's the kind of player that doesn't care about camera time.
Right.
And I feel like she is the
Yeah.
type of person that is like, I'm not going to do this on camera. Like, it doesn't need to be.
Mhm.
So I also hope that she did that. And that's, I feel in my soul.
Choosing
she
to
did.
believe it.
Yes.
I would assume they did if what we see how close they got throughout this
Yeah.
for this little
Yeah.
bit we've seen in the season.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Getting back to the actual episode, we go from all this fucking drama and fighting. Do you have more you want to talk about?
I was just going to bring up the John A thing.
Oh,
That's what I was going
Okay.
back into. With
I
that.
wasn't sure if you were going into
So,
elimination. I was like,
Yeah, before they go into elimination, though, we do get John A sitting with CT, and John A basically, I don't know, maybe I didn't read this right, but to me, it felt like she was trying to ask for permission from CT to say,
Not
it's
even-
okay,
yeah.
I don't nominate myself.
like, not even like permission, like for him to say, like, it's okay for you to not do that. But like, that she wanted somebody. Yes, reassurance. Like she wanted reassurance from somebody.
This isn't a good idea, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
that's
yeah.
what it felt like to me,
Tell,
right?
tell me I'm fucking up. That's what I need you to say. Like, John A, you're fucking up.
Don't nominate yourself, John A. Like that's what I think she really wanted CT to say. And it was so funny. I was just wondering, I was like, God, you're so cute. I fucking love you. But this is the wrong person to try to get that reassurance from, considering CT just nominated himself and is currently about to go into elimination for his team. So probably not the best person to get the reassurance from, but you know what? A for effort. I have so much love for John A. I freaking adore her. And so like in this moment, I was like, but still like, you're so cute. Like it just
And her
wrong
hair,
person.
her hair is just beautiful.
Her hair looks
Oh, her
really
hair's
great
great this
season.
year. Great
I
this
agree.
season. I love it.
The girls are girling.
Hey,
They
3
are.
out of 4 give hair opinions. So
But CT calling her the mayor of Challengeville was like,
I just feel like John A is so accustomed to All Stars and the level of competition on All Stars compared to the flagship that she is not certain of where she stands in this house.
Yeah.
And her not being certain of that is her seeking that reassurance from CT, who's, even though at All Stars experience, is strictly been on the flagship from what we've seen.
Right.
And I don't want to, like, I love seeing John A on this, but I just think she's out of her water in this season. There's too many top level women that are playing against her or with her, even, you know, just between era 2 and era 4 and era 3, you know, notwithstanding Rachel and Tina, who can still read this game like a book, you know, and that's kind of the read I got from it.
Yeah.
I think because of what she does later in the episode, it's going to bite her in the ass too.
I think that is going to definitely bite her in the ass. I don't think that was a good move.
No.
You know, we'll get into that, but yeah, I think that, and I think that, I don't know if John A's social game, like, I don't know if lax is the right word, but I think it does better on All Stars because she's played more with those people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like she has better relationships with those people. Whereas like, for example, you know, she kind of got like inducted into the Vacation Alliance because you hosted us in Nashville. You know what I mean? And so it's like, but that's not the same as having played 6 seasons together, gone on a vacation together. You know what I mean? Like that's not the same. So
all it takes, guys, come to Reno. Lake Tahoe's right there. Reno's not good, but Lake Tahoe, beautiful. You guys will love it.
Okay.
Will be an honorable, you know, vacation not on the show alliance. I don't know. We're going off subject here.
Something.
Getting into the eliminations, I really want to bring this up. First of all, who the fuck thought of this elimination was like, you know what? This is a hit.
This daily and this elimination cost like $100.
Tops.
It is.
Tops.
Get it all from Home Depot.
A big ass wooden thing. There was nothing. They were just like, go in this forest with this big wooden contraption that was not
Bags with rocks in them. Yeah, like that they just found on the trail. You know,
nails for $10.
The hammers were the most expensive part of it.
Yeah.
Like literally the most expensive part of this whole thing.
I don't know. Plywood's expensive.
That board.
These days.
Vietnam, so we don't know. We don't know what their rates are on lumber over there. I know here they're not cheap.
It'd be crazy.
I mean? But with that being said, it seems like they saved 50% because one board looked like it was made out of styrofoam.
Yeah.
Oh, you could.
I mean,
have you ever seen anybody ever do that? I don't work in general construction, but I've swung a hammer at a nail. No, I've swung a nail. I swung a hammer at a nail. And that's not how that shit works. Like when you bend that motherfucker, you're done.
Done.
You know?
Are done. Yeah.
How did she do that?
she's magic.
So I haven't really seen anybody making any like gifts out of it or anything.
No.
You think because people don't think that that was really how it went? I mean, that was crazy.
I think they gave
It is how it went, but
somebody gave my pen. Yeah, somebody gave my pen to the PA assistant who put that fucking thing together, and he was just doing. He was like, "All right, there," and that was it. But
okay,
that's the only explanation I can really think of, other than we can go down the rabbit hole of if Tina gets eliminated, era 1 only has one woman left,
Mhm.
and that's the era that most of the fans really root for. They want the OGs to do
That's what we've
good.
been begging for.
You know what I mean? And if I go down that rabbit hole, then I'm going back to last week's elimination and the week before that and everything else.
I'll say last week didn't have an elimination
Oh,
or an episode.
they played it twice.
Are you kidding?
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, I was like, did they really play it a second time? That would be so stupid of them to do.
No, but
Just stir the fans right back up.
I just think, I mean, that's the only explanation I can come up with is like a PA just didn't set it up right.
Yeah, there's no way. And I know, look, I love Tina. I
Mhm.
love Tina. I've didn't like her very much. Well, you guys know I didn't like her like at all back in the day. And then as she started coming back on All Stars, I started kind of
Uh-huh.
liking her a little bit more. She was very humble. She was very funny and just lighthearted, was just having fun with the game, having fun with where she was in life and just enjoying it. Now I feel like I don't know. I just feel like era 1 is just going so hard. It makes me not believe things even more.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge fan of how like Tina is handling this situation. The things that she's like certain things that she's saying like on Twitter and just like the whole behavior behind it
Mhm.
and acting as if like what happened on that nail board was like just a normal thing. Like, oh, I go to Home Depot. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Like, I don't, what?
I go to Home Depot all the time too.
And I could never do that with actual real nails nailed all the way into a wall. But then I'm also like, everybody says that you flip coins to see who gets which board.
Well,
But did they see the coin?
What's
Like, I'm
the
so
devil's side?
skeptical. I'm so skeptical. I'm so skeptical. Oh my gosh.
first of all, I like Tina, and I don't give a fuck what she said on Twitter because that shit was wrong, but it was funny. She's like,
It was epic.
don't trust Theo, he can't see well, basically.
Yeah.
It's super fucked up, but it's hilarious, and I'm here for that. I like that he cracks the joke at
laugh
himself.
at
Like, he popped the champagne bottle,
Uh-huh.
and he
He
was like, "Watch out, everybody, safety first." So he sees the humor in it too. But
He does see the humor in it, and I like that about people. I know this is a little bit unrelated, but it reminds me of like Nelly T.
Oh.
He sees so much humor
Uh-huh.
in his amputation. Like the other day, I saw this reel. I saw this reel that he posted on Instagram where he was like doing his workouts, right? And it was that song where it's like 10 toes down, whatever. And his caption said 5 toes down. And I was like, oh my God, I love Nelson so much.
All I can think about is what you told me yesterday.
What did I tell you? Oh, never mind. It's okay, we'll do it later. What?
whatever. So Tina obviously beats Emily, and
By half a board.
half a fucking board. So that's what makes me feel like this is suspect. Like, at least with the other elimination with CT and Nehemiah, which was foreshadowed the whole fucking episode that
Yeah.
this was the
Oh my
elimination we were going to
gosh.
see.
At the
It-
beginning of the episode, we were watching, and I was like, they're having Nehemiah say that he went into elimination with CT, but they did say that he went home.
Mhm.
And every single time they do this, I'm like, oh, right there.
Oh,
Stamp's
he's
like, I hate it when you do that.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, he's going, like, I already know what's happening.
Yep.
But then
AMI is going.
fooled me this time.
Well,
Gotcha.
saying that made me remember something that pissed me off when I watched the episode when Nehemiah kept saying the last challenge I was on, and it made me think like the way he was implying was like last year. It was like, bro, that was 14 fucking years ago. Like,
We're on season 40, and that was season 21.
it was a while ago. Least with that elimination with Nehemiah and CT, it was close. Like, you can tell that they both tried Tina's strategy and it didn't work for them either. And if anyone was going to pull it off, I assumed it would be CT. But what, he beat him by like 4 nails,
I
Nehemiah?
want to say it was 6
Okay.
because I think he had
There's
4
more,
in the top
like
and then
maybe
2 in the second row beneath it.
It was really close. Like,
So-
they were really coming down to it.
Yeah.
And I kind of think they did a disservice in the edit of this because they just blew past it because they wanted to focus in on Tina's oddball, whatever the fuck she did,
The Tina Tornado or whatever,
Yeah.
Emily.
where they were just dropping coins as sound effects in the background.
Where but yeah, it literally just like, what was that?
I don't know, but
I
I'm
don't
going home
I
and
don't
I'm
like
buying
it.
plywood and 100 nails. And I'm gonna fucking try that over and over until I can replicate
I
that.
kind of want to, but
Yeah.
honestly, I think going down these kind of holes are dangerous for me. So I'm gonna.
Let's
I
just
mean-
like fuck.
I wish I knew less.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not gonna do 100, maybe 25. I think I get a good sample size from that. Anyways, I digress.
My God. Oh
What
my
did
God.
you guys think of the elimination? Did you guys like it? Did you think it was the stupidest shit you've ever seen? Or
It was the stupidest shit I've ever seen.
I won't say it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, but I was like, really? For this season,
Mhm.
this is what you're going to give us? I like that it was like, well, hypothetically, it would have been equal.
Mhm.
But
Right.
it's kind of dumb.
I would have liked to see really any other elimination we've seen in the last couple
Yeah.
seasons. Even the one where Horacio had to like unlock chains and then like use a sledgehammer
That one was
and
good.
all
I
that.
actually liked that one where they had like the different like little wall. It was kind of like what they did in the final too for Ride or
Yeah,
Dies.
it was almost just like that. Yeah.
No, I did not. I was not a fan of this elimination at all.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly, I don't understand. We have this epic season 40, which is already just an epic thing to make it to on a reality competition show. So 40th season, you have 40 of the best players, quote unquote, but for the majority, you got 40 of the best players, whether it's socially, entertainment, competitively, whatever. And we're going to do weird elimination. Why are we not doing iconic eliminations? Why are we not bringing back eliminations from each of these eras?
Yeah.
Why? I just,
Missed opportunity.
I loved what they did on that first, like that purge elimination where we had the era one, the balls in and the pole wrestle and the hall brawl. And then, I know they couldn't come up with anything super good for
Take
era
shelter.
4. So they did the take shelter thing, which was stupid, but that's okay. But this,
Yeah.
I just don't understand why we're not doing, even if it's like alterations to old eliminations.
Like do a twist on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you could do 14 different variations of not so fast. You could do like the one Kyle did with the car. Oh,
Mhm.
by the way, if you guys are going to be in Detroit next week, Kyle's going to be here at the Zach Nichols Podcast live show in Detroit. We'll link the ship below. Check it out if you don't already have
Yeah.
tickets. If they're already sold out,
Yeah.
you're too late.
That's
If
a
they're
wow.
not, get your tickets now. Brad's going to be there too, and he's bringing his beard.
The beard is going to be there.
Yeah, the beard's going to be there.
That's worth it in itself. Like,
Yeah, and obviously Zach and Pierre will be there too as well. So make
Yes.
sure you guys check that
I'm
out.
really upset I'm crossing paths
Yeah.
with Brad because he's probably in Buffalo right now and I'm in Detroit.
right?
Star-crossed lovers. I mean, not really. You're married in Gary and all that.
Gary.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
Gare Bear.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
he's
Gare
gonna
Bear.
love this so
Yeah.
much.
He could have been here right now.
He could have been. He could have been sitting with Sam over there.
Right?
I mean, we can rotate in. Sam, do you want to take a seat to go with us? All right, there you go. He's like,
No, I'm good.
maybe.
No.
Don't want to melt the mic right away. I get it. I get it.
Yep.
So with this, I mean, that pretty much wrapped up the episode. We get the preview for the next one, which seems like the fight with Laurel and Cara goes on for part 3 or however many parts it is. which I'm
Maybe.
not really. looking forward
Yeah,
to.
I guess it probably does continue. It
Yeah.
probably does.
But so who's your guys' MVP for this episode?
Well, real quick, I just want to go
Oh,
over the
my bad.
targets.
Oh, targets.
and what
yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they go off, they go to pick their new targets. Brad volunteers, Rachel's the only one left. Laurel and Bananas get picked.
Yes, I kind of like it, honestly. I kind of like it.
Petty.
I don't.
Well, I like it because if they go in and they win, they get to pick the targets,
That is
and
true.
you know who they're
Okay.
going to pick.
Yeah.
So
That's a good
I
point.
find it interesting.
It is. It's like a nice little tit
Mhm.
for tat, like back and forth, you
Yep.
know? And then Corey volunteers for Era 3.
Making up for last week.
Janae does not volunteer, even though she's the only girl left on Era 3 who has not gone into an elimination or like been up for as a target. She does not. She does not.
Nope.
She even actively verbally tells Nehemiah, I don't think it's a good idea for me to nominate.
She's everyone.
Yeah.
I
and
like
then
how Nehemiah still
he goes,
picked her up.
okay, Janae.
Yes. Thanks for telling me that you're still going in.
Yeah, she was so convinced he would not just like pick her outright unless she volunteered herself. And I'm like, that was a huge oversight. But I also don't understand why maybe they're closer than I thought from All Stars. I don't know. But that one threw me off. And then Josh and Jenny get picked. Josh volunteered. I will give him his flowers. He finally does his volunteer. Jenny gets picked again. And there's two other girls who haven't gone in, right? It's Michelle and
Casey. No,
Casey.
Well, Casey got
Casey
nominated.
did get. She was a target, so it's just Michelle.
Just Michelle.
So it should have been Michelle's turn this week. So Jenny's pissed. But I think what you were saying earlier, I do think that Janae's saying in my opinion, she should have pulled a Josh. If she did not want to volunteer and she was like just hoping with all hope to the universe that Nehemiah wouldn't pick her, she should have just stayed silent. Like her verbally saying that in front of the entire cast, I think is going to come back and it's going to bite her in the ass. And I hate to see it because I really like Janae. But again, this is what I mean when I say like, it's not that she has bad social game. It's just so much different in the flagship. It's so heightened, especially with all these like super experienced players.
It's selfish social game.
Yeah. And I don't think it plays off. Like she might have gotten away with something like that on All Stars.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get away with that on a flagship, and especially a flagship season this stacked.
Especially when you're getting Rachel volunteering, you're getting all these people that are actually volunteering to go in and going on the rotation, especially on your team. You want the Vacation Alliance to help carry you to the end. You got to play your part in it. We're watching every single one of them do it each week.
Well, and that's the thing. The next time like an Era 3 goes into elimination, you're getting picked. Janae, Tori's going to pick you. Avery's going to pick you. Naya's going to pick you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, so you kind of screwed yourself with your own team and like your credibility or your trust or whatever with your own team. And then you also now have the rest of the cast and the rest of the teams looking at you like, why aren't you willing to do your part? You know what I mean?
100%.
So
100%.
I hated to see it.
Hate to see it.
Hate to see it.
And then, of course, the stupid karma points, which I don't.
I like CT with the pen, just clicking it. I'm going to shoot from the hip. Yeah, that was the shit right there.
He's so funny.
I'm curious to see how they're going to play out, but I don't want to say anything about it because I don't know how it's going to play out yet. So I'm going to reserve judgment on that until I know
the karma points.
Yeah,
but I just it again. I don't, and maybe it's the way TJ's wording it. Maybe he's leading us on. I don't know, but he's like, you're going to help determine who's going to win $1 million, not who's going to the final, you're going to help determine who's going to win $1 million. And I'm like, if these points have anything to do with like a final count after the finals run, I'm going to flip my shit. I'm going to freak out.
Are you going to write a letter production?
Yes.
Okay. I like it.
But
a strongly worded
I'm going to do a very angry podcast episode.
Just gonna yell into the mic.
We don't even need to be here, maybe just for moral support, but we'll just let her go.
I will be so disappointed. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. But next episode, I think. Do you guys think Cara is gonna get her revenge, because it kind of shows that in the.
Yes.
She's like, I'm gonna just sit down as soon as they blow that horn. I'm gonna sit down. Fuck you guys.
Watch it be something you only need 5 people to do.
You got to sit one of your team, Matt.
That'd be so fucking hilarious.
We need even numbers, so you have to set a couple people.
I think she will try to throw it with, and who knows what's going to happen. I mean, it would just be weird to see. It's going to be weird to see big names go home like we did this week with CT and Emily going home. But who knows what's going to happen next week?
Oh, that would be nuts. Cara going home, that would be crazy.
Or Laurel.
Laurel. Laurel's up, so Laurel would be the one.
Yeah.
I don't want any of them to.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for somebody at the end to vote for like 2 different eras. Like we want the guy from this era and the girl from this era. We want those 2 to go in, but I don't think they can do that.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, probably not.
How can you do that?
Because they're both up for votes. Can't you just
maybe once like Era 1?
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
It's not that important as far as
okay. I was like, can you do that?
What I do want to ask you guys about though is MVPs for this episode.
Oh, jeez. You guys go. I don't know.
Okay, I want to make Tina my MVP, but not after we had this episode. But I'm actually not gonna pick an MVP, but I am
Ooh.
gonna do an honorable mention to something that I forgot to mention at the beginning when they were doing the pool party and CT was cooking.
Yeah.
So he was on the grill, and I don't know if anybody else noticed, but there was this big ass silver bowl full of all the meat touching
Mhm.
each other.
Mm.
All the steak and chicken and shrimp touching each other. So
Alexis is like, no.
well, I've just heard about a lot of stomach issues people have been having on this season. I'm like,
She's like,
what is really
I
going on?
won't eat at his house.
What's really
Look,
going
at
Don't eat
first,
CT's
I
barbecue.
wasn't surprised that CT was manning the
Yeah.
grill, but then once you said that and I started thinking about the cake he
Oh.
made Leroy on Dirty 30, maybe he shouldn't be in there. I'm just putting that out there. Maybe let someone else do the grill.
Leroy was so sick. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That's crazy.
If I were to go MVP, I'm going to give it to Emily because who knows if we're ever going to see her back on the flagship again. So I'll give her that for going against unbelievable odds she was never going to overcome in that situation. And then for the men, give it to Nehemiah. Like, you took out a goat, you know what I mean? So it's hard to argue that.
Yep.
I know you can't say it, but it's true.
over here like, I'm pleading the fifth and I'm picking nobody.
Well, I'm at least gonna give my female, and it's Emily because I love her, and I'm just really sad we didn't get her for that long. Like,
Yeah.
she could have done.
You can give your MVP to CT. You can do it.
Yeah.
For the same reason I gave mine to Emily.
I know.
Okay.
I know I can do it.
Are you going to?
Yes.
Are you going to give it to Nehemiah?
No.
Does Nehemiah get an
No,
honorable
look,
mention?
yes. I'm actually giving both my male and female MVPs to the losers, Emily and CT. With my honorable mention for the men going to Nehemiah. Honorable mention only because of that silly comment he made after the elimination where he was like, oh, I beat CT. Now I'm working my way up to be in the names with all these other legends. And I'm like, that's
not how this
that's
works.
not how
It's not how
this
you have to
you
win a
don't-
final.
you gotta do more. You gotta pop up. Okay. Like that's not the same.
He did pop out and show him. Though.
He did pop out and show him.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to. So but anyway, and then for my female for my female honorable mention, this one's gonna be really odd. I'm actually gonna give it to Cara because I relate a lot to the situation, and that's all I'm going to say in that moment. And I think that even though she did have a part in kind of sparking the fire that ended up like boom exploding in the freaking house, I still don't think that she deserved that, and I think that she handled it very well. I think even right now, having to relive it all, she's handling it very well. I expected to go watch that TikTok video and just like roll my eyes. I expected her to just like bash Laurel the whole time. And it wasn't like that. It was, she's handling the situation very well. And then I talked to Cara a little bit one-on-one, and just the things that she was saying, I really just want to give her flowers for, kind of taking that, like, that verbal abuse in that moment and to the extent that it was. And I know that that's weird because I, defended the whole Laurel thing back on All Stars 4 when she was like screaming at Cara. But to me, like, this is a little different than yelling at somebody.
Yes.
And like I said, I relate to Cara more than I thought that I did in this moment. And it broke my heart hearing her talk about everything. And so I really just want to give her some flowers.
I think it's well warranted.
Yeah.
That's pretty much everything I got.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else either. All my notes are empty.
Let's close this out. All right.
We
Well,
recorded our first one. Oh, and you know what?
what?
We forgot to mention something.
What's that?
This is our 3-year anniversary for the podcast.
Oh, for the podcast. Ooh, I got scared. I thought we were talking about a different anniversary that I forgot about. Ooh.
No, for the podcast, 3 years now, and I'm so glad that we could all
Well,
gather for it.
with that being said, big shout out to Pierre.
Yes, thank
GOHT
you.
Media, the Zach Nichols Podcast. Come on, here. Come on, brother. Yeah.
Yes.
What's up, guys? Hey, listen, I gotta say two things. In an episode that Nehemiah beats CT, no one gives him the MVP. What do we? That's number one. Number two, I gotta ask a question. Now I did step out, so if you guys address this, I'm sorry, but did anyone talk about that Kylan move? I don't know. I talked about it. I mean, kind of. You're not gonna throw in Devon and Tori. I'm just saying. That's it. That's all I'll say. Anyways, watch Challenge Fandom.
Watch Zach
and
Nichols.
There you go.
Yeah, watch
Yeah.
Nichols.
Subscribe to Zach Nichols.
Okay,
podcast.
real quick to answer that Kylan one, I totally get where he's coming from on that, and that's a shot to take at Tori and Devin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just feel
it is.
like the era 3, era 4 combination is working too strong together, and I think that Vacation Alliance is just a little bit too easy of a fruit to pick if you're Kylan to try
Empty.
to join. Yeah, you want to be on that one because you're going to ride it easy.
Yeah. Sorry.
For myself,
You picked
Ricky
me.
Hayes. For my beautiful wife, Corrina Hayes, Katie Bad Blood Pahura, Alexis Tex Rawson, everybody behind the scenes here. We want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you love this episode. We hope you tune in next week. And other than that, be good to each other. Be good to everyone else. Love y'all. Night.
Bye.
Kiss you done.
Peace.